Okay, karibu everyone. You are all welcome to this discussion about Ubuntu and its place in social work and development. My name is Eria Tuyamreva and I'm a student of social work at Makerere University, and I will be guiding you through this discussion. And today we have someone who is very knowledgeable about the area of Ubuntu. Would you please introduce yourself and please?
Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Charles Kalinganire. I'm a senior lecturer at University of Rwanda in the College of Arts and Social Sciences, in the School of Social Studies and Governance, and more concretely, in the Department of Social Sciences, hosting social work and sociology. But in addition to this, I'm conducting researches, I'm presenting a consortium project we are working with Makerere University, with Institute of Social Work in Tanzania, and University of Social Sciences at Norway, University of Agder. So currently we are working with just in the perspective of helping resilient communities. And yeah, it is a project that helps just capacity building and outreach in communities in the perspective of promoting indigenization. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for that introduction. We are now going to dive into our discussion, and we shall be guided by different themes. And for this particular theme, it is about Ubuntu and how you were introduced to Ubuntu during the time when you were growing up, your early understanding of Ubuntu. And my first question to you is, how was Ubuntu explained or demonstrated to you as a child while growing up?
You know, it's a delicate question. Maybe I have grown in a Christian family. So when I was in primary school, my devoted parents have been teaching me love. They have me asking me to be in good terms with my colleagues at school, to be every time exemplary by participating to the mass, by just respecting others. So I have grown by just respecting the parents, the grand people, the elderly, so that when thereafter, I realized when I was told what is Ubuntu.
My next question to you is, who in the community embodied or personified Ubuntu to you while you were growing up? Who embodied, exemplified, or personified Ubuntu to you while you were growing up in the community?
Yeah, as I was telling you, the first to show me good demonstration in the community, that the Ubuntu philosophy, my parents, my dad, my father, and my mother, every time, every evening, they were used just to give talks to children, telling them how they have to behave in the neighborhood, how we have to respect people. And that is why I have been just seeing the elderly people, how they were behaving, how they were just punishing, deviating children without necessarily being the direct parents. So in the community where I have been respecting the elderly who were just giving a good example, especially those working in church, teachers at school. So these are the main people, my parents, the wise elderly people in the neighborhood, and my teachers.
Thank you so much for that submission. And we are going to be going to our next question. And the next question I have for you is about learning that happens in the community. And of course, we know under Ubuntu theory of education, learning happens in the family, it happens in the community, it also happens in the society. And by this, we say that communities and the environment are teachers. So what is your experience based on this?
You know, according to my experience, I have seen that throughout the lifespan, a person has to pass through different stages under the guidance of different people. So I can link this with what we call normally in sociology, socialization. So when you are born in the community, the family has to play a great role in helping you integrate, involved in the community, so that the parents really have a very big role to play in helping the newcomers in the society know what is good and what is bad. And this is linked with the values of Ubuntu, just to live with dignity, promoting respect, well, collaborating with your relatives. So these are different kinds of agents of socialization. So, and mainly the parents, the teachers, the religious people, and as I was telling you at the beginning, the wise people in the community.
All right, thank you so much for that submission. We are now going to the next theme guiding our discussion, and it is about Ubuntu in your African language and cultural practices. And the question I have for you is, what words or concepts depict Ubuntu in your language? Could you share some of those words or concepts that depict Ubuntu in your language and what their meanings are?
You know, this term of Ubuntu, it is just a concept that is used in the Bantu languages. And as we see it in different literature from different scholars, it is just about a philosophy. And this philosophy, as I was telling you, derives from Ubuntu language. And it is linked with the values of just compassion, dignity, respect, solidarity, and in short, humanism. Because normally Ubuntu it means person. From person Ubuntu, umuntu is a person. And when we say Ubuntu, it is just the manifestation of this quality of a good person, of someone who is living with dignity, of someone who is just defending the survival of the compatriot, of the neighbors, and so forth. So it is this, my understanding of the concept is this just manifestation of humanism, of the quality of unity with other people, of promoting good relationships with other people.
My next question is going to be coming from the theme of Ubuntu in your everyday life. And according to their theories of aging, Dr. Uzoma Odere Okeyo from Nigeria and Professor Andrew Nyanguru from Zimbabwe, they emphasize the positive contribution of older adults in building the family as well as building the society. And we would like to find out from you, what is your contribution, or what is your perspective in regards to the positive contribution of older adults in building the family and society in regards to Ubuntu?
Every people, but originally the concept itself, it does originate from Africa, but the orientation, it does normally characterize every person worldwide. But what is particular here in Africa is this kind of warmness, is this kind of extending relations with other people. And this normally comes from the elderly people who have to transmit these values to the newcomers, to the youth in the society. Next, as I was telling you before, the parents had a habit to gather the family members before they go to sleep. And so that they give them talks, they give them just the orientation of life, how they have to behave, what they have to avoid. And normally in Rwanda, we say treat every child as yours. So when a child goes to school, normally, and he does deviate, instead of going to school, he passes just time with some gangs, with some other deviant pairs. Any adult person can just try to correct him, to ask him to go to school. And even if globally the human right doesn't allow, he can just stick him, but in the way of just showing him the right way without being necessarily the right parents. So this kind of community functioning, family functioning is very important. And even nowadays, if there has been some changes due to just to history, to colonization and so forth, but these ideas are being revived everywhere in Africa, and especially in Rwanda, in the aftermath of a genocide against the Tutsi. This philosophy has been appearing in reconciling people in what you call gacaca. Gacaca, it is a traditional justice court whereby wise people are selected by the colleagues in the community, and they do help to, the perpetrators and the victims reconcile, unite, and work in solidarity. So it is well embedded in the elderly people and in wise people, and the youth have to benefit more today, whereby many problems are emerging from both sides. That's all I can say about this.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Charles. We are now going to go to our next theme of this discussion, and it's about Ubuntu in development. And according to Mzee Kenneth Kaunda, he says this about Ubuntu, and he says that the national productivity drive must involve a communal approach to all developmental programs. And by this, it calls for community and team spirit. So what do you think about what Kenneth Kaunda says in regards to national productivity drive involving a communal approach in all developmental programs, and this calls for community and team spirit.
You know, in Rwanda, we have a saying specifying that inkingi imwe ntigera inzu. Inkingi imwe ntigera inzu. It does mean one pier cannot constitute a house. So, in such a way, this philosophy of feeling united with other people, it's very constructive, and it does lead to development. You cannot develop alone. Where you can just cultivate as one person, you can take the whole week to cultivate a certain space of land. But when you are together, when your neighbors assist you, you help each other rotatively, you can cultivate this in 2 days. Do you understand? And the important thing is that maybe you are united around a same consideration, a same conviction. And this conviction normally is the development of everybody. When your child, you are not capable to pay fees for your children, the neighbors assist. When there is someone who is sick, the neighbors assist. But the important thing is that to have in your insight this conviction, and you marry it what is the outside. So the problem is that sometimes there are some things that are hidden, and sometimes you can be involved, you can participate in order to be well seen by other people without being internally convinced. And this one way or another can inhibit. The young people, for instance, don't involve very easily. And so the elderly have to rethink how they have to raise their children by inculcating these values of this solidarity, integrity, unity, and trying to avoid or destroying behaviors that are gaining the minds of our youth today.
Thank you so very much. And my next question is about Ubuntu and the environment. So when you think about the environment, what is the role of Ubuntu in sustaining the environment?
You know, let's take specific example in showing how we may defend, we may protect our natural environment, even if the environment is broad, it does concern even people and so forth. Keeping everything from the natural. And at the end of the day, they make honey. You know how honey is delicious. So I think people considering this, they can really protect the environment, saying that we have that to think of our health, our life, because we get different things from our environment. You see flowers. At the beginning, I was talking of burial. Do you see around the world, the whole world, how flowers are used in order to accompany the deceased people? And people put together, they collect flowers, and they show that they are united themselves between themselves, and they do just help the families who lost the people keep resilient. They do protect each other, and even visit seasons after their departure from this world. We continue to be united because during life we have been manifesting solidarity, we have been manifesting warmness, we have been just helping each other in clothing and so forth. And that is life. That is how we have to make the world better for everyone. That is how we have just to handle the problem of wars, of conflict. It is by just creating or co-creating a good environment. And this is based on how we do interact, we do collaborate, we do build relationships in order just to explore good things from this environment.
All right, thank you so very much for that submission. And we are now going to our next theme of discussion, and it's about Ubuntu justice. And you know, Ubuntu justice emphasizes deterrence, it emphasizes returning, it emphasizes replacement, compensation, apology, forgiveness, it emphasizes reconciliation, warnings, and punishments. So we would like you to share about your comments on these Ubuntu justice principles. Could you share your comments about them?
Yeah, what is justice, first of all? I think it is a manner of treating everyone with dignity, helping him or her benefit from the wealth of this world. And, you know, we have said that in the Ubuntu philosophy, we mean I am because you are. But I think there is a kind of some misconception. Also, it is correct, I do agree. But why not also saying you are because I am? And really here, I refer to elite people, to the powerful people, to the influencers in this world who have just the power to respect justice, to treat people with fairness. But unfortunately, the powerful people who just are there, who are sometimes considered as the leaders, as the models, they do not give a good example. They do perpetrate misunderstandings. They do just help in developing conflicts and so forth. So, in short, the values of Ubuntu, when they are well embedded, when they were well internalized, they do educate the people individually, and especially the powerful people, so that they can influence the ordinary people in a manner that they can just feel free, express their desiderata, their insight, in order to be treated with justice and to participate easily in development. So we have one way or another to instruct the people. Somehow, if what can I say? If we can coin other concepts, saying that maybe there has been so far in this last decade, last century or decades, I don't know, what I can call peace ionization. I mean they are imposing peace. The powerful people, they do impose the way of behaving. But this is temporary. Because at the end of the day, when the people feel open, they can be against with these powerful people. So we have, at least when we talk of just promoting justice, we have to combat the way of forcing people to behave with what we call democracy, what we call respecting other people. But this has to be automatic through good education, through just helping everyone consider that living in good terms with colleagues, defending human rights, establishing human security. This can help people live in peace and not peaceization. We have to build peace instead of imagining it and imposing it to ordinary people.
Thank you so very much. And we are now going to our next theme of discussion. And we are going to Ubuntu in practice. And you know very well that in Zimbabwe, they have indigenized and decolonized and contextualized their code of ethics. And by making Ubuntu a major theme for their ethics. So what lessons do you think the rest of the other countries can learn from Zimbabwe, where they have decolonized and made Ubuntu their central code of ethics?
Truly speaking, it's very important in any kind of development to rely on your own traditions. Of course, without ignoring other realities. You know, in Africa, when today we say, colonizers have just put us in very bad conditions. Yes, I do agree. But nowadays, we have been going to study in Europe, in America, and we know we have been succeeding academically as themselves they were succeeding. So going back, we have to consider what is positive, what we have acquired positively from these countries, and see how to marry this with our own realities. So it is very important that we value our values. If I can say this with this tautology, we have to see what is very important, because this humanism is needed. Because, you know, for instance, when we say in sustainable development goals, no one behind, it is not different from this philosophy. But how is this put in action when you see Ukraine, Russia, wars in Israel, in Western Congo? Do we respect this? So we have, as you were saying, in Zimbabwe, but it is the same in Rwanda. When you see we are making a difference today by reviving our traditions, we have what we call homegrown solutions. We have what we call umuganda. Umuganda, it is a community work that is performed every last Saturday of month. And people gather, they do just work, they do clean, they roads, they do whatever, they do set up different infrastructures. And that is what Rwanda is doing in Belgrado, in Mozambique, where we have a mission of our soldiers. They do help people gather together, conduct, perform some community activities, the example of Zimbabwe is okay, but I was concretizing with the example from Rwanda, how we do implement. I was telling you that in the aftermath of the genocide against the Tutsi, we are reviving our traditional values in order to see how to marry what we have been acquiring from outside and with our local realities. I was giving an example of Muganda. Did you hear? Muganda is a monthly community work conducted by the people at the lower administrative structure. I mean, there are around 50 families put together. They conduct some community work activity. For instance, cleaning the roads, building the school kitchen for children. And in addition to this, it's a good occasion of gathering, and they do discuss problems of misunderstanding, of conflict, whatever in the locality, so that they do combat what can destroy the unity.
Actually share about how Ubuntu can be increased in organizational plans, in policies, in ethics, curricula, as well as fieldwork manuals. It's a continuation of the previous question.
Yeah, the important thing just to promote or to revive or to redynamize, to revitalize Ubuntu, it is first of all to involve people, the bottom-up approaches, not ignoring, because the people themselves are concerned by their development. So once you do not consider them, when you do force them, as I was saying, ionization of behaviors, dictating them to cultivate some plant, to raise such animals. How can you ask a Muslim just grow pork while in their religious beliefs they do not support this? And the other thing is just to disseminate the policies of the programs initiated, not keeping them in the shelves, not thinking that maybe you are waiting for external aid. In schools, we ourselves, while teaching, we have also to involve our students, but we have also to be innovative. When we say maybe, for instance, in Rwanda, the good values are written somewhere on the roads. When we say ubumwe, that is unity. Ubuntu, that is humanism. You will see some symbols on the road, just reminding people how they have to behave. Why not putting some symbols in our classes, in the walls, in classes? And so the elderly people, the powerful people, I mean in school, visa the teachers, visa the vice chancellors, visa, I don't know, they have to show example. They have to be the models of their students. And this has to be put, just the local ethics, the local ways of behaviors have to be put in curricula. For instance, in the project I referred to, in the consortium we have today, we are now trying to see how to review the curricula by integrating the best values from our local cultures. And lastly, you see, the world became what we call village. And yourself, my friend, you do participate in different meetings, in different workshops, in different fora. Very soon, there will be an international social work conference at Makerere. We'll have many people. Why not showing who we are in building unity? How can we put together and write something on emails, on internet, showing what is good, what kind of values, unity, peace, end of wars, and we disseminate around the
Right. Thank you so much. We are now going to the very end of our discussion. And I have two questions for you, and they're about Ubuntu globally. And my first question to you is, can Ubuntu coexist with Western individualism?
You know, man is man, or person is person. You will know him by examining and seeing what he is doing externally. The Western people, they do have red blood. Asians, we Africans, I think ourselves, I confirm that we have red blood. No one has black blood. So how not we cannot cohabitate? It's a matter of just being sincere, and ourselves Africans, we have to recognize our power also. And we have to sow good seeds, as I was saying, when you are in Europe at airport, you are in train stations, in bus stations. Why do we fear to show what is good? For instance, you are in a bus station. You can say, hi, good morning. You say, Europeans, Western people, they are not used, they don't have time to greet people. Intervention on this question, I have to say that we can coexist with them because we are both human beings.
Okay.
And what we have this leitmotif. Life is important for everybody. We have to defend life. We have to leave no one behind. And we as Africans, we have just to combat fear. We have a social ill of fear. Why fearing transmitting what is good and positive in a polite manner? So we do have we meet our colleagues from Europe, from America, in workshops, in international fora. So we have just now to show who we are, to show our values, and this will be helpful, and it is important for the survival of people across the world.
All right. Okay, so as we've come to the close of our discussion, my last question to you is, could you share an Ubuntu value that you would wish the world to learn about globally? And we bring this discussion to a close. Could you share any Ubuntu value you would wish the world to learn about Ubuntu?
As we have started saying by that, Ubuntu is a philosophy that helps everyone understand everyone respecting everyone, sharing the wealth of this world with fairness. And this has to be done by, firstly, the wise people, it can come from Africa, who has been initiators, but this has to be well embedded in the minds of powerful people across the world, because they are taken as models in the lifespan of our youth today. That is what I can say, and this has to be done formally, non-formally, and informally. Wherever we are, social work professionals, they have to play a bigger role in raising awareness of powerful people in the world and strengthening resilience among ordinary people who are mostly understanding the value of Ubuntu. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for sharing those beautiful insights. And I highly appreciate you for having taken enough time to be part of this discussion. And since we've come to the close of this discussion, I want to thank you, and I believe everyone else who will be watching this video will learn more about Ubuntu from your experience and from your perspective. Thank you so much.
Before you leave,
Yes.
my friend,
yes,
yourself responded to this last question.
Yes. The last question of what value of Ubuntu I would wish the world to learn about Ubuntu. I think
absolutely
the value of communityness is what I would wish the world to learn about Ubuntu. And by this, I mean everyone should be able to consider themselves as part of a wider community. It's not them as one person. You are belonging to a wider community, and therefore you should be doing everything that will help this entire community thrive. That is what I can submit in.
And lastly,
yes,
everything, we have lost the good spirit of praying. We know whoever you are, the good model is Jesus Christ. If we adopt his way of living, everything can be extremely positive and fantastic in this world. Let's take the models of people who have been putting their feet in Jesus' feet. These are the ones who have combated for decolonization and who are even nowadays combating for the promotion of everyone, and particularly the vulnerable and ordinary people. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for sharing with us that last submission. And I thank you so much for having been part of this discussion. And I wish you a very good day.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All the best.
Right.